and welcome. We often see domestic workers going about their daily duties in wealthy suburbs raising other people's children. But what we don't usually see is the hard work they put into raising their own kids, many who go on to be future leaders. Take University of Pretoria lecturer Dr. Lindelani Mnguni as an example. Raised under harsh conditions and little resources in the rural village of Moy River, KZN, Lindelani went on to graduate with a PhD.
You have students from, faraway places, and they come here, they expect, a particular kind of place. They get overwhelmed by the city. Most of them, they end up in the clubs and drinking and all these kinds of things. They get overwhelmed by the academics. They fail their studies and they drop out. They don't have money and all of these things. Unfortunately, there are very few lecturers who take the parental role, and say, I'll talk to these guys, I'll hear what they say.
He is very approachable. The first thing you notice about him is that he loves people. You go to him with any problem, and he advises you.
You need someone like that when you're here. You really do, because parents are back at home, and our parents don't know what's going on because they've never been to university, you see.
But only a person with first-hand experience can understand the difficulties young people face. University of Pretoria academic Dr. Lindelani Mnguni is that person. Not only is he a lecturer, but also a mentor, a father figure, and a symbol of possibility. Born and raised on the Middlefield farm in rural Moy River, life was an uphill battle in the Mnguni household. With an absent father, Lindelani's mother was left with a huge responsibility to provide for her family. Her only option, leaving her young children with their aunt for months while she went off to Pietermaritzburg to work as a domestic. But the family struggled to make ends meet on their mom's meager domestic worker's salary.
If a pig dies and it's consumable, he would say to the people, you can eat it, obviously, so we'd share that among. The farm had about 50 families, so we would share that, and at times the pig would die, but it's not supposed to be eaten by the people because it's not, it died of a disease or whatever the case, I don't know. And then those pigs would be thrown. There was a big hole somewhere in the mountains that would throw those kinds of pigs there. I would go with him there to see if we can't, find a piece from the pig that can still be consumed.
Life at home was tough, and school became Lindelani's only escape from his harsh reality. But here too, conditions were difficult.
We walked 1 hour to school and another hour back. And if it's raining, you're gonna get to school, soaking wet. But you're not the only one. So there are other kids who are in the same position. There were farms all around, so no one ever thought of the outside world. We're not exposed to the outside world, and therefore you never think there is a better life. When I was in primary school, we had 3 classes, 3 classrooms, and from grade 1 to grade 7, and we all shared these classrooms. And I remember if you're doing grade 2, you would be in the same room as grade 1, so the teacher would just move over to the other guys.
But when Lindelani visited his mom in Pietermaritzburg one day, his world suddenly opened up.
I remember the first day I touched a computer mouse. It was magic. It was unbelievable to click on. I couldn't even click on it, The joy of being in the city. I could smell the city. I could hear, not people, not cars, but you can hear the city sound, It was amazing. It was amazing being in Pietermaritzburg. It was unbelievable. And I said to myself, I want to be here. I could imagine what would happen if I failed matric. it was going to kill me. I couldn't work in the farm.
Back in Moe River, an invigorated Lindelani knuckled down to his studies with renewed purpose. In the year 2000, he finished his grade 12 with a distinction in maths, becoming the only student in school to pass matric. But his excitement was short-lived.
Going to university, I had no money, and I always knew I can't ask my mom for money because she doesn't have, and therefore there is no one to help. And I remember I worked hard that December to get some money to register at university. And my mom had saved some, and I went to UNP, and they said they needed 500 Rand registration fee at the time, and that's all I paid. I would go to the neighbors around the university and look for Saturday jobs, and then I would do the garden on every Saturday. No one knew I was doing that because you have pride, you know, you don't want people to see that you're a poor guy. And no one knew that that's what I was going through, but I would go there and she would give me 50 bucks and I would go buy books or food or bread or whatever, and that pushed me.
11 years of studying, relying on student loans and odd jobs. Finally, Lindelani graduated with a doctorate in science education. Now an academic at the University of Pretoria and a family man, this once rural farm boy is living the life of his dreams. But Dr. Lindelani hasn't forgotten his roots. He holds regular sessions with students from rural and township communities, helping them integrate into university life.
I spent a total of 11 years as a university student, straight. From my first year to the day I graduated with my PhD, straight 11 years. The guys I was with in first year, most of them don't have a PhD. And what sets you apart from the rest of the crowd is yourself. Inspiration, motivation won't come from outside, but it's within you. When you believe in yourself, when you believe that you can make it.
You know, it may sound like a cliche, but having seen Dr. Lindelani's life journey, it's true that your background doesn't always have to determine your destiny. Coming up, swapping a garden fork for a canvas.